The ongoing conflict surrounding Gaza has taken another dramatic turn as the last remaining aid flotilla vessel attempting to reach the besieged strip has been seized by Israeli commandos. This latest incident has sparked outrage among international activists, human rights groups, and governments calling for urgent intervention. The vessel, part of the Global Freedom Flotilla Coalition, was carrying much-needed humanitarian aid, including medical supplies, food, and other essentials for the people of Gaza, who have been living under blockade and siege conditions for years. The activists on board represented more than a dozen countries, with participants including lawyers, doctors, and human rights defenders. Their mission was not only to deliver aid, but also to highlight the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Reports confirm that Israeli naval forces intercepted the vessel in international waters before it could reach Gaza. Commandos boarded the ship, detained all those on board, and redirected the vessel to an Israeli port. Passengers were reportedly taken for interrogation, while the humanitarian cargo remains confiscated. The interception has raised serious concerns under international law, and as boarding a civilian aid ship in international waters could be seen as a violation of maritime sovereignty. Human rights lawyers and flotilla organizers are already preparing to bring the case before international courts, including the International Criminal Court, accusing Israel of unlawful seizure and collective punishment against Gaza's population. This seizure comes after weeks of heightened tension in the region. Gaza has faced continuous military operations and airstrikes and artillery fire, leading to severe destruction and worsening humanitarian conditions. Hospitals in Gaza have been reporting shortages of medicine, surgical supplies, and even electricity to keep life-saving equipment running. International aid groups have consistently warned that the blockade and restrictions on humanitarian supplies amount to a deepening crisis that threatens the lives of over 2 million residents. The flotilla, named the Handala, symbolized global solidarity with the people of Gaza. Activists on board emphasized that their mission was entirely peaceful and humanitarian. Several participants lived-streamed parts of their journey before the interception, and calling on the international community to pay attention and act. Videos showed banners with messages such as "End the siege on Gaza" and "Freedom for Palestine." Their capture has now gone viral across social media, drawing sympathy and anger from millions worldwide. Israeli officials, however, defended the action, claiming that no unauthorized vessel would be allowed to breach the naval blockade on Gaza, which has been in place since 2007. They argued that aid should be delivered through recognized humanitarian channels, overseen by Israel to prevent the smuggling of weapons to Hamas. Activists and rights organizations dispute this, saying that Israel's control over aid is politically motivated, severely limits supplies, and collectively punishes civilians. They highlight that direct aid delivery is crucial because Israeli checkpoints often delay or block critical items from reaching Gaza's hospitals and families. International reaction to the incident has been swift. The United Nations has called for clarification on the legality of the seizure, while countries such as Turkey, South Africa, Ireland, and Norway have expressed strong condemnation. The European Union has urged restraint and respect for humanitarian missions. Human rights organizations like Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch have demanded the immediate release of the detained activists and the return of the seized humanitarian cargo. Meanwhile, legal teams associated with the flotilla are documenting testimonies and preparing evidence for submission to the International Court of Justice. They argue that this is not an isolated event, but part of a pattern of systematic violations of international law by Israel in its treatment of Gaza. By targeting humanitarian missions, they say, Israel is attempting to silence global solidarity and maintain control over Gaza's isolation. The broader implications of this event are far-reaching. It raises questions about freedom of navigation, international law, and the right of civilians to mobilize in solidarity with oppressed populations. For the people of Gaza, however, the consequences are immediate and painful. The medical aid and supplies that were on board could have saved lives, and now they remain inaccessible. Families continue to struggle with shortages of food, clean water, and medical care under bombardment and blockade. This seizure also risks inflaming tensions further across the region. In neighboring countries, protests have already been reported, with demonstrators calling for an end to the blockade and for governments to hold Israel accountable. Analysts suggest that incidents like this not only damage Israel's international reputation, but also strengthen the resolve of global solidarity movements supporting the Palestinian cause. The story of the last Gaza Flotilla vessel is not just about a single ship being seized. It represents a larger struggle between humanitarian efforts and political control, between international law and military enforcement, and between global civil society and state power. The activists have vowed that despite this setback, the movement will not be silenced. More flotillas will be organized, more voices will speak out, and the call for justice will only grow louder. As the situation develops, the world's eyes remain fixed on Gaza and the fate of its people. The seizure of the final flotilla vessel is yet another reminder of the urgent need for international intervention, humanitarian relief, and above all, a political solution that ends the cycle of blockade, suffering, and violence. For now, the flotilla may have been stopped, but the struggle it represents continues on the seas, in the courts, and in the hearts of millions worldwide who demand justice for Gaza.